Welcome to LinkedIn for Networking. Today we're going to discuss the importance of LinkedIn and other online tools for networking. So when it comes to networking via LinkedIn, there's two main functions: building your network and building relationships that will help connect you to job opportunities. So to get started, take a look at the contacts that you have to launch your network. You can start by looking through your contacts page in your phone, entering friends and family members, anyone that's in your personal or professional network, and add them to LinkedIn. Experts tell us that the magic number for LinkedIn is 500. So don't let that be overwhelming. You may have fewer than 500 connections, but once you do reach that number, LinkedIn considers you an active member. That's really kind of the target number that we're shooting for. So that's your goal, is to build 500 contacts in your profile. It will take some time, but remember, the beauty of LinkedIn is that you're connecting to your connections. And so multiplying those connections happens very quickly once you get that initial group in. So start with the people in your closest circle. If you have 50 or so to start with, you'll be surprised how soon you get into triple digits. Begin to build your network by reaching out to people that you know. Accept connection requests from those who have professional or personal traits that really will benefit you in your professional career. Connect to people who are suggested by LinkedIn, tastemakers in your field, other prominent people, those who work for target organizations that you're looking at, and use groups to expand your network. There's great professional associations and groups related to almost every field of work. As you're reaching out and requesting people to connect with you, make sure you personalize the request instead of using the stock phrase that LinkedIn provides, "I'd like to add you to my network." You always want to make it personalized, remind people how you met them. So for instance, if you're at a networking event and you collect business cards from folks, when you get home, reach out to them and remind them how you met. I enjoyed our conversation, or it was so interesting to see you at this event and talking about this and that. So give them some context for how you met and little reminders of what you talked about and how you have that connection. That will encourage people to really personalize this experience, accept you as a connection, and want to stay in touch and follow you through your career. In terms of accepting connection requests from others, develop a criteria for yourself for how you're going to accept these requests. Even though we're shooting for that magic number of 500, quality is really more important than quantity. So look for people who work within your field or have connections to those target companies that you're interested in. Ask yourself, how does this person enhance my network? Do they have a lot of connections themselves? Do they know people that work in similar fields to mine? Use LinkedIn alerts when you have those requests and get in the habit of accepting them soon after receiving them. It's a good idea to follow up with people as they have enthusiasm about connecting, when those memories of the conversations you had and the place and time in which you connected are still fresh. So capitalize on that enthusiasm that you have when you have a great conversation with someone and when they have one with you. You can also follow LinkedIn suggestions for people to connect with. LinkedIn has a built-in algorithm that helps identify people you may know. So they're those that maybe are second or third degree connections, or who maybe have a past affiliation with one of the groups or organizations whom you've worked with, or they're connected to other people whom are already in your network. So review those suggestions that LinkedIn provides and connect with people as appropriate. It's a great way to multiply your contacts with people who are really kind of fit the bill for you. As I mentioned, groups are a really powerful networking tool. They give you access to huge numbers of people who are all interested in the same type of work that you are. You can actually join up to 100 groups, but again, focus on quality over quantity. What are groups that resonate not only with your interests in your professional work, but companies that boast the same values as you, or individuals who have similar interests? Social connections work well as professional connections. Research a variety of groups that are out there and join the ones that are populated by your target audience members. Again, thought leadership, people who have similar social interests, personal interests, maybe hobbies and sports or other activities that you're related to are great ways to connect with people. Also look at your alumni groups from your alma mater. Once you join a group, what do? Well, spend some time getting to know how the group works, who's a really active member, what kind of content they're looking for. This will clue you in on how you can participate in that group and really build your own professional brand. So if there's a particular topic that's really hot in your industry right now and it's being discussed in that group, you'll want to share your own content, feedback, maybe do some posts on your own that help build that awareness among those in the group that you're a tastemaker in your field. You're someone who's very engaged in industry trends and topics that are timely. More on building relationships with your connections. Provide status updates on a regular basis, particularly if you're in job search. Let the folks on LinkedIn know who you've been having conversations with, if you've been engaged in informational interviewing, if there's networking groups you've been attending. This is a great way to not only share your status and have others help you in your job search, but it also connects you to people who may be in a similar situation and want to connect with new people and expand their own network. So being generous with your time and information is always appreciated, and it's going to help others to be more actively engaged in communication with you. Like and comment on relevant posts. Share posts with your connections in other groups, and share content that you've developed yourself. Now here's some basic guidelines for what should be on your LinkedIn profile. Always have an updated headshot. You don't necessarily need to go to a professional photographer, but create a nice clean image, a clear, non-distracting background, and a fresh look, something professional. Solid colors are usually recommended. Ladies, make sure your makeup is touched up and you've powdered so that you don't have a shine in your photos. Have a friend take a series of photos for you and select the one that you think is most appropriate. And always use a current picture. You want to be as authentic in how you present yourself on LinkedIn as if you were meeting someone in person. So no high school photos. Use something that's recent from the last few months. Only include your first and last name on your profile. You don't want to include too much personal information that might warrant someone hacking your account or looking up additional information online that you don't want to divulge. Create a headline and summary for your audience that really speaks to your current brand, what you're looking for, and what you bring to your industry. Again, keep your status updates going regularly. Make it a point each week to check in on your own LinkedIn profile and see if there's anything that needs to be updated. Maybe you want to post something for your new connections that's relevant to them. Maybe you've had some new conversations and you want to add some groups or individuals to your contacts. Always be checking on this. Your LinkedIn profile is a living, breathing thing. Customize your public profile. You can add custom backgrounds, a custom URL, and other things to just specify your expertise and personality even more. Again, it makes it more memorable for those looking at your profile. Get recommendations. We recommend 3 recommendations from 3 different organizations. If you only have recommendations from one company, that could raise red flags for recruiters looking at your profile. You want to have a diversity of recommendations that speak to your skill sets and your experience over the length of your career. We talked about groups. Add a skills section so that your connections can endorse you, and include an outcome-oriented description under each position that you've held. So let's talk a little bit more about your headline. It's really critical, and we find that a lot of people don't spend much time on their headline, and that can really cause you some detriment in terms of recruiters being drawn to your page and getting responses for job postings. Your headline should be the 1 to 3 lines underneath your name and state very specifically what your value statement is as a professional. You have up to 120 characters that you can use for your headline, so use those wisely. Use keywords that are very descriptive. Talk about who you are and what you do in more specific terms than just, I'm an accountant or I'm a project manager. Describe how you engage others, what your strengths and attributes are, what your approach is to the work that you do. Insert keywords based on industry terms and job descriptions that you're looking at. So if you're a job seeker, you should be researching what companies are looking for. If there's jobs that you have a particular interest in applying for, how do they describe the duties and what attributes and skills are they looking for? Make sure those exact keywords are in your headline summary. If they are, that will help to draw recruiters and get you through automated tracking systems so that your profile will pop up. Avoid using symbols that might confuse online systems. Never use all uppercase letters. That's kind of the same rule that applies to email. It's like you're shouting at someone. We want to be subtle and professional in how we present ourselves. And don't add your email address, phone number, or anything else to your headline. There's a separate place for that contact information. So here's an example of a headline. It's a little more descriptive. I work with organizations that want their teams to be more strategic, productive, and profitable. So what this tells me about this candidate, if I'm a recruiter, is that she takes a very strategic approach. She's focused on productivity and profitability. So that really aligns with what recruiters and hiring managers are looking for. She's not talking about the work she's done in the past or highlighting her experience over the last 20 years. Again, there's a place for that. That's going to be in the experience section. She's highlighting specific skills here. And the fact that she mentions teams gives me some insight that she's great at leading teams and has experience in a team environment. So carefully choosing keywords can make a big difference in how you come across in your professional headline. Again, we want to set a specific day of the week to attend to your LinkedIn page. Constant updates are going to be necessary, but if you designate one day a week just for a half an hour, it's really not going to be a huge burden on your time and schedule. Just designate some time to attend to it each week. Always maintain an authentic and consistent profile. It's important for us to present ourselves and our brand as real as we can. So current information, current images, and current activities are the guideline. Okay, I'd like to introduce you to a few customization tools for LinkedIn that you can use for really effective networking. A custom URL allows users to find you quickly and easily. It's also something that's real handy to put on a handbill, a resume, or on business cards, rather than the lengthy URL that's built into LinkedIn. This way you can have a LinkedIn / with your name, very straightforward, very personalized. And here's instructions on how you can do that. In terms of your profile photo, we talked a little bit about this, but I wanted to show you some examples. Make sure your face takes up at least 60% of the frame. This is really about you and showing your personality. So you want a warm and engaging smile. If you have a specific skill set, if you're in the arts, like the gentleman with his guitar there, you want to highlight that. Dress as you would in your job. So if it's a professional position, a suit and tie or a dress type of job, you want your profile picture to reflect that. If it's a more casual environment or something that maybe is outdoors or in a specific type of work environment, include that in the background of your photo so that the person looking at it can visualize you in that target position. And how do you change your profile photo on LinkedIn? Because we do want to update it regularly. You go into your account, click on the Edit Profile button. There is a camera icon there. It'll allow you to browse and choose a photo that you want to use as your profile image. So get in the habit of taking updated photos every 3 to 6 months. You always want to stay current. If you have a new hairstyle or some other type of makeover, make sure you get a photograph of that and upload it. Custom backgrounds are a great way to also highlight your skills. Some people like to use images of their professional field, their special skills, or an image of the city they work and live in. So I have a nice Chicago backdrop on mine. I know people who work in artistic fields may use something that reflects that type of work that they do. There's a number of different ones out there, lots of free applications to create a custom background on your profile page. So here's a great one for someone in the coffee business. So I'm sure a coffee house has this one. If you go to Canva or Stock Snap, these are great websites that have literally hundreds of images, and they even have a search tool so that you can put in your professional field or your job or a keyword and images will pop up. They're all designed for LinkedIn, so they're already sized to the correct dimensions to use as a background image on LinkedIn. Well, I thank you for joining us and hope that you benefit from these tips on LinkedIn for networking. If you'd like to learn more about what we do here at CTC, you can visit our website. You can also go back to the YouTube page and view any of our 30 new webinars and videos. For more information on CTC and how to join as a member, I do offer a free information session the first 3 Mondays of every month at 11 a.m., and you can register online for those sessions. Thanks for joining us, and best of luck in your job search.